And in my mind I stop and sing, and in my mind I stop and sing, and in my mind I stop and sing, 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 sing. Do 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 do, do 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 do, do do do.
All right, my name is Marcus Amaker. I want to thank the Music Initiative Posse. Thank you for reaching out to me, especially a poet, because I know this is a music initiative, so it's kind of nice that you guys have a poet up here. I do write sort of rhythmically, so I do consider some of my poems music-like. I always like to do crowd participation, and usually I'm in like a big field and like there's a lot of people, so I'm like screaming at them. It's just more of an intimate sort of thing. So I want you all to say, on the count of 3, say, hey yo, okay? 1, 2, 3. Hey-yo. Nice, okay, that's great. Just one more time. 1, 2, 3. Hey-yo. Nice, I love it. Okay, sweet. I'm going to be doing that throughout the performance just to make sure that you all are awake. All right, so New Orleans is one of my favorite cities. Who has been to New Orleans? Sweet, sweet. And I visited New Orleans a year after the hurricane hit, and that was one of the most emotional things I've seen, because you go to the 9th Ward, and I toured that, and all those houses are just gone, you know. There were some structures there, and then they had a line where the water was, and you go to some of the like structures, and then the line was like up to here. So I can't even imagine what that's like, to know that is coming in your house. You know, it's just amazing. So yeah, I love that city. I visit a lot. The city almost kills me as much as I drink there, but it's amazing. So this poem is called Jazz. The morning rises with smoke, and the water drowns out the sky, washing your music away. New Orleans, you were silent today. Your muted colors were splashed upon television screens, your ink darkened newspapers, smearing silhouettes all over our hands, and we are helpless, restless with worry, wondering when Bourbon Street will dance again, when men will make love to the evening air with saxophones, where somebody soaks up the atmosphere with spicy Cajun food, speaking Creole. New Orleans, you have so much soul. Now I dream in jazz rhythms, closing my eyes to feel the drum beat that rests steady beneath the ruin. It echoes heavy, like the heartbeat of families forced to flee the floodwaters, where melodies no longer float through the air. Instead, they lay there, unable to breathe. But you will find your beat again. It will rise with the morning air, and the water will sing to the sky, and our tears will write new songs for jazz to sing, for jazz to sing. All right, this is a poem that I talked about when I was being interviewed for the show. I wrote this, this was about a year or so ago. I had been going through that period where I hated being single, like woe is me, you know, first world problems. Wasn't really meeting anybody, and then I met somebody, and it just sort of flipped my world around. So I went to a jazz show, and it was very quiet in the audience, and then the jazz band stepped on stage, and the whole place just lit up, and that metaphor really struck me, so I wrote this about that. This is called Perception of Sound. Just when you think your heart only beats for the dark, a light overtakes silence, and a jazz band steps on stage. The music swirls around your glass. Each note gets in your blood, and you are dizzy with love. You've heard this song before, but not like this. It's like the singer knows your kiss, and each note is impossible to miss. Don't hold your applause. It might last forever. Instead, pause and admire the encore that's happening at this very moment. It taps you on the shoulder after you've danced with complacency, and suddenly you're face to face with the woman who placed an echo in the soundproof walls, who's never played your instrument like this before. Just when you think your heart only beats for the dark, you find yourself lightheaded, wrapping your mind around the wonders of her music and waiting for the miracle to happen. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hey-o! Sweet. Nice. You all having a good time? Are you feeling good?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. All right, so let's see. This poem, I just moved on Upper King. You know how different King Street is. Like, you're on Lower King, and it's like right near Broad Street. Then you get in the middle where all the bars are at, and then you get like on Upper King, and there's some cool stuff down here, but not as much. So I wrote this poem, and it's about that. It's called Upper King. I see poems everywhere in my neighborhood. They write themselves, stumbling through winter's relentless stare and blinded by the bluntness of spring. They surround you before you slip into the sweet darkness of a sour night, sorting through a history of scrambled words. I and the tongue-tied baby of the family, the wide-eyed wanderer who finally found a home, walking past the broken-down buildings that hold the streets together and having real conversations with America, admiring her ball gowns down one-way streets, then washing off the doom of her repugnant perfume. I see poems everywhere in my neighborhood. They're the graffiti artists of the sky, the endless puddles of alcohol that linger like rain on an unholy city, searching for God amongst the ghosts within. Thank you. All right. Okay, I think I'm listening up a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Sweet. As a spoken word poet, I saunter off on Saturdays to scream from a soapbox on the sidewalks. Stanzas scribbled out on sandpaper are smoothed out for the stage. I stitch thoughts together and slide between the sheets as I sleep. It becomes my second skin, and I stick metaphors in my pen for self-gratification. It's better than sex. And more colorful than Saturday morning cartoons, I spit like I'm Superman, swooping through the words and fighting off the verbs I've scratched out on small pieces of paper. It obsesses me and undresses me from normal conversation, so I sit naked in a sea of ink stains and swim through an endless stream of inspiration, searching for the spark that will help me start the process over again, because her lipstick licking lollipops leaves me lusting for the low end of her landscape. I'd willingly allow her to leak endorphins into my wounds until my darkened scars become illuminated and my inhibitions become emancipated. Loneliness. Leave your lack of passion at home and listen as I look inside of her silence for a lullaby, to lull us into dreams with our arms locked into each other and our arms locked into the language of sleep's heartbeats. Love, don't kill this fantasy. This is lust. This is legs being lifted. This is learning to live wicked. This is bodies all twisted and formless like liquid. Love, this is lust. Think about the times when you were most happy and you're driving in your car singing along to some song. You're not worried about the past or the future. You are completely in that moment. So I wrote this sort of honoring that. People always say to live each day like it's your last. I say, live like it's your first. Come out of your mind like you came out of the womb and open yourself up to the beauty of unknowing. Be present in the presence. The future is now, and you wrote the book, but there is no catalog of worry, no price plan for prayer, no index for indecisiveness, no glossy magazine for glory. You are here. And you learn to walk without worries when questions wash over you like memories, and you wake up and realize you had the answers all along. And you are free to just be and breathe instead of holding your breath for death to grab a hold of your soul and push you into another world of unknowing. People always say to live each day like it's your last. Why not live like it's your first? Drink wine for the first time. Redefine what it means to be beautiful. And grow old gracefully without growing cobwebs in the back of your mind.
And if I might stop and sing, and if I might stop and sing, and if I might stop and sing, 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 sing.